So this is my journey to 1500, another game coming up today. I need all the help I can get and I'm nervous to record this one. But it's great to be starting to grow this little project and I hope you are going to support me along the way. So I'm going to jump into starting the game and I'll hopefully talk at some point when we've got a bit of a break in the action. Okay, and we're straight into a Karakan. We've got a 1380 opponent. Okay, looking to play immediately here. They're going to block. It's going to be like an advance if I get this move in. Oh, they're offering the light squared bishop trade. Now, should I go here or here? Yep. Hopefully they're going to be proactive in trading off. We will see. If they do eventually decide to trade off, then I get a quick win there. Okay, let's get in ourselves. Might not be able to do this and this immediately. Have they missed anything I can pin? Should I keep it simple? Should I break immediately? Don't want this. Don't think this is quite right yet. So maybe simple here. Or this before we push for the centre maybe. Looking for this, trying to get rid of their... We want control of this D4 square. I think I can go for it now. They can force a queen trade on this square, I think. Pretty much. Should I could block. I could block. So this gives them another defender on this pawn. I'm okay with that. They might jump back with this pawn. Oh, they've gone for a fork. Okay, clever. Yeah, I've missed that. Okay. They've got the dark squared bishop, so I'll go this way. Here, and try and capture this knight. We don't want them to defend this knight coming out, but I can then push there. So I think this knight is trapped. They're on +4, but not for long. I have more central pawn mass. They can kick me away. Can I break down on this pawn? Maybe need to do a full attack on this side. Seems okay. Oh, now rather than double up my pawns there, nearly did it. Probably best to drop back here. Don't know why they wasted that move. Okay. Plenty of defenders there. So here, could attack this pawn. They could push it. They're going to try and get a third attacker, maybe a fourth attacker. Okay, fine. What do I want? And if they go the wrong way, maybe I pick up this backwards pawn. So if I go here, will they think to take Let's just activate my rook. I think they're coming round. I'm going to double up. That will make it harder for me to push here. If I do push, they won't take this way, so I think they will take the correct way, which limits my options. If I do this and they take this, they might take, then I have, no, it's not very good. What about this? Is a fork, might break them apart and then attack this. So then I'd have, if they just take, I'm happy with them taking. Attacks a rook. Attacks a pawn, attacks a pawn. Would attack this pawn this way. Okay. Anything more I can do to attack on there? Yes. So if I do this to put 3 attackers on there, they can then take here. Just wondering if this, lose this pawn and then capture this pawn, does that maybe set me up a bit better? Don't know. If I take here, here, he's not pinned really. Push, takes. Nah. I'm hoping that this is the right series of moves. How are they going to take? Okay. I do get that. This move doesn't really serve enough value there. So this was a big oversight. They're going to make some progress here. I'll take there. This isn't hanging out, so this I need to be careful of. Possibly need to go this way. This is going to fall. It'd be really good to get my bishop on there. I can't defend this and attack this. So none of this works because I've got to defend this. I haven't got anything that can do it. I don't think I can let this one fall. Maybe sorting this out first. Okay. This defends a critical pawn. Have they missed anything? I think this is okay. They could come in here. Nah. This might be okay. That's clever. That's very clever. That's scary clever now. This is a check with a pin. This is a check with a pin, so they can't take, so maybe they take this way, and then that's a check still with a pin. This is going to be all kinds of horrible. So how do I defend this square? Attack and defend. They take there. Here to take this. Here to take this. Push this pawn. Okay, I'm so far behind on time because I'm talking through everything. And I've dropped the defence of that square. But I think it's okay. I can maybe push this pawn if the rook's gone. This is what we're thinking. The rook can probably just attack this. Okay. Check, yep. Take there. Materially that's good for me. Now you take that, isn't this a fork? How do you come out of this? You take this, so that if I take this you win this. And I can't counter there because it's covered. Yeah, fine. Here doesn't work. Struggling. I know I shouldn't trade off, but if I do this, they're just going to make the trade anyway, aren't they? Let's have this. Okay, that was bad for them. They should have taken it, or maybe a misclick. Let's hope that was a misclick. This is covered. Fine. Threaten this. This is covered. Fine. Is it fine? Where do we go here? Got to defend this. Okay. Got this. This would be a check. This is covered anyway, so they're not going to play that. Oh, intense. I think I would trade off. That is a fork. Okay, this is now out of harm's way. And they've resigned. They should not resign when I've got 53 seconds. Okay. Just had a quick breather. Really excited. That's 14-17 ELO. So that's the first thing. I've got two thoughts here. I could either do the game review and get to the end and see, and I'll probably see what the best move is going forward and look at the plan. Or I could show something that I often do as a drill, which is try and finish off a position. When my opponent resigns, try and finish it off against the computer at either a full level or at a pretty high level, just to see that I can convert. So I'm going to give this a quick go. I've just found the self-analysis mode, and the three dots at the bottom brings up this menu here, which includes practice versus computer. And this brings up the finishing position where my opponent resigned, where I had a pawn here. I'd just brought my bishop up, forking the king and rook. I've taken it, they've resigned, but the computer says they will play on here. So I think this will force a rook trade, lose me significant material, but I think against the computer that's probably you know, throwing away 3 points of material is almost certainly worth it to pretty rapidly. Just going to have a quick calculator. I can either go here, block this, and very quickly manoeuvre my knight round to win this, but this kind of pattern always takes some this coordination of the pieces. You kind of have to do some manoeuvring to get to that piece, something like that, or if the king gets in the way, obviously you could come this way. In that time I've got to make sure I don't hang this pawn, but these pawns I think are okay. I might be able to pick up this pawn anyway, so let's think. If this pawn moves forward, I'm taking it, so maybe I just go after this pawn with my king. Maybe this is a sensible approach. If he pushes 2, I'm taking it. Okay, now I'm going to go here. We've got a bit of a blockade of squares that the king can't go on at the moment. So fine, we're going to have to bring our king a bit closer. So now they're trying to break through, but we've still got a blockade here. The king's going to have to go after this pawn, and I would say now that I don't need to play this on to the end, but for the sake of sort of demoing what I would do in this position, maybe just try and move my other pieces out of the way to make sure, and if you don't know how to finish in this position, you know, I can bring other pieces in and do this differently. But okay, so I could have converted that against even the maximum stockfish to the maximum computer with a higher rating than Magnus. Very reasonable for the opponent to resign, even though I threw away 3 points of material at the very beginning to convert that. Let's go to the game review. And very briefly on the game review, we can see that the big errors were really on my part, fairly even through the opening. There was a little opportunity for me which I missed, and then it jumps in white's favour here. Then again some inaccuracies from white, and I was able to get back to almost equal and get quite a lead at one point until I made another blunder and went back to reasonably significant benefit for white. And they don't even call this a blunder for black, but sure, it's just for white, sorry, but surely this is a big step down. So I think I take that at the end. Got some advantage there. It shows we're around 70% accuracy, which is not what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for 80% to be fairly consistent. We each had a great move. Not a lot of book moves. And that's on my part actually. I'm surprised that I didn't know the theory that I think I was meant to push the pawn before bringing the bishop out. We'll see if that's true. Don't like to block my light square bishop in on principle, so I need to learn that that might be a position I have to do it. A lot of best moves from me, but critically down here. Although white made plenty of mistakes, I had a couple of blunders, bigger problems. I was just more consistent. My opening wasn't quite as strong, but I picked it back in the middle game. So let's go through this in more detail. This was the end but move, so my suspicion here, which is going to be that it's e6 is the move. Oh, it says best move, so now that confused me. It said I didn't play book moves, but then it says I played the best move here. I don't know what the book move is if you're not playing. I know that some book moves aren't best moves, but you'd think that the best move at this position would be a book move, so I'm much more happy with that now. And yeah, I got this structure right. Go for the light squares, and maybe it will want me to trade off the light square bishop early, because here the light square bishop is not my best bishop. I really want to be hanging on to my dark square bishop. That said, I guess really I want to be trading off their their light squared bishop is what I want. My light square bishop is reasonably active because it's outside my pawn chain, and yeah, I think this is the same idea, that it wants me to defend my bishop with my knight, but it doesn't want me to block my dark square bishop in. So at that point, trading off, yeah, you'll see that there was a 0.1 advantage for black, and I lost that. Well, it's pretty inconsequential. Gets my knight out the way of my dark square bishop, prepares me to castle, and gets my knight controlling some central squares. They wanted me to pawn break sooner. Yeah. And I guess if you're gonna... Oh, okay, so I played the queen up and then pushed, but obviously the queen wasn't supporting the push, but was blocking the check on my king, which I could have probably just blocked later if that had come. There's a miss here. I guess if they want to trade off the queen, then it will help me to develop my knight. So this was unnecessary and added a defender to that pawn. And I missed, yeah. 0.2. Look, they just jump in here and they got a fork on me. I need to see this fork. So fair play. My opening wasn't up to scratch there. The only thing I was happy really about was being able to at least lock their knight in, and I didn't snap capture with my A pawn. I realised that my bishop could take it back. I didn't want to double my pawns. Lo and behold, it's a mistake. The computer 0.7 for white, 0.8 white. Okay, so the reason for that might be bringing my rook to the A8. If I double my pawns there, bring my rook to A8, I can quickly pile up an attack towards their castled king. I didn't really think of a pawn storm because I wasn't thinking opposite castles. I was just thinking that my king's in the centre and try and attack the rook. They should take, and then I think this knight move is not going to be good, as was proven in the game. Waiting to see what my great move is. I can see what you can see. I can't see the moves coming up. Best place to put it back. They took that pawn. Wanted me to go on to the E8 square, I guess, so that my pawn wouldn't get pinned. I was probably worried that they would skewer my rook if I did that, but of course my king can go back to D2. If I'd played king to E8 and they'd played rook to G8 check, then my king can go back to D7 and defend the rook. This wasn't best. This was good. So I took the pawn, which really helped later, and it defended a bit, and I had to find... Yeah, it defended the F. That was it. It defended the F7 pawn, and then I didn't quite find the right move here. I could have attacked the rook, although I think they'd have just taken. Great move there. Ooh, failed. I mean, here, given the pieces available to me, both, my knight, I guess, okay. So this is probably king F8 is a fork. King F8 forks their two pieces, so they might if they take my knight, I get their rook, and then we trade off the last knight. So good move. 1.6, and I do wonder if this was a mouse slip. I don't know for sure, because some people will play this as a check, C check, play check. You just got to take the material. You let me, what was it, 1.6, and how can that be only called a mistake and not a blunder? It's gone from +2 to white to 4 for black. So I bring the knight back to safety, blocking the check, and then I have to defend the backward pawn. It wants me to get my king further out the way. Push here on the pin. Okay, they give a check. My knight is defended, so I can come out anyway. And a check. Yeah, just I was attacking that rook, so they moved the rook back, but I'm still winning a rook. And you know, I was a bit short on time here, so 59 seconds, 54 seconds, 53 seconds, and they resign. I don't know if I'd be able to convert that against an opponent in a minute. I don't quite know how long it took me against the computer, but that was a good game. So if you want to see the next roller coaster game that comes along and see me in time trouble yet again, watch me make another turnaround. I seem to get into bad positions whilst using a lot of time, but then when I realised the clock, I play a bit faster. That's happened on a few games already out of just a few on this project I'm doing. So please support me. Let me know in the comments anything that I need to be working on, because I do need to work out what the focus is. But I think this is helping me to play more games and get some experience in different positions. I think the opening is going to be the next thing I focus on. I hope you enjoyed it.